Hi, I'm Donna Hesik, and I am the owner of Suzette's Creperie in historic downtown Wheaton. And Suzette's as a restaurant has been here for 25 years. We're on our 26th year this year. And 3 years prior to that, Suzette started out as a street vendor selling crepes out on the street. A lot of my customers ask me, "Oh, are you Suzette?" And I say, "No, Suzette is out walking the poodle. I'm Donna." And then they kind of look at me and they say, "But why is it called Suzette's Creperie then?" And I always say, well, Donna's Creperie doesn't sound very French, and I need to borrow a name. And of course, it was named after Crepe Suzette's, the famous Crepe Suzette. I went to Paris in the 90s and saw the street vendors selling crepes, and I thought, oh my goodness, why can't Americans have such nice fast food? I was in advertising and marketing at the time, and so my mind put a business plan together, and I was going to pitch it to actually one of my clients. But my husband said to me, he said, "Oh, why don't you do it? You like to cook, and it sounds like a fun idea." So I, without even thinking twice or overthinking it, I said, "Oh, sure, let's do it." So I designed a custom cart and started selling crepes at the French market, and that was in 1997. And so the whole concept was founded in Paris. And so I decided I was going to keep a very strict focus on French cuisine. And so after 3 years on the streets, I opened up Suzette's in the year 2000. And we kept the French focus of crepes. And at the time, there was a learning curve for our customers. They could not figure out how you could have savory crepes, how you could have a whole meal um, with just crepes because they were only familiar with like Grandma Sally's sweet crepes that are on her menu. So at that time, there was no, the Food Network was not as big and great as it is today. So we had to explain to people, yes, you can have savory crepes. There's ham and cheese crepes and many other things. And so the first couple years was just really a teaching experience. But as people became more savvy about savory crepes and French food, our business grew, and we soon added the second storefront 2 years after we opened. And at that point, I decided it was time to get a liquor license. We were big enough now that we could handle it. And again, I had to keep my focus in mind, and I made the executive decision that I would only have an all French wine list. And I said, well, you can get California and Italian wine down the street, but you can't always get French wine. And I just know that what grows together goes together. So if you're drinking French wine, it's going to go with our French focused menu. So I have stuck to that for 24 years now, and we have all French wine, and we've also for 16 years received the Award of Excellence from the Wine Spectator magazine for our French wine list. So we're very grateful for that, and it has kind of been a guiding factor for us that we just really keep the focus is French. Probably the what I'm proudest of at Suzette's are actually there are many things. First of all, I'm proud that we actually made it to 26 years with the death rate of restaurants being only a year or less. Um, it's amazing we're still here after 26 years, which I'm very grateful for, and it's all due to our customers, and their encouragement and, bearing with us when we were learning things and when, things weren't always so great. Maybe they stuck with us until we could fix things. So I think that probably my greatest achievement is probably the 90% repeat business that we have. Our customers have been coming to us, some of them for 26 years. They were one of the first to walk in the door our first day of business, or some of them actually were customers of mine at my cart when we were at the French market. I think another thing too is I opened Suzette's when I was 50 years old, and as a woman at 50, opening a new business that she didn't really know anything about, I'm kind of proud of the fact that we have been able to carry on for 26 years. And I think probably the most important thing is that every day you walk in, it's a new day. Every day you learn something about running a restaurant because every day things change, trends change, people's needs change, family needs change. And so it's able to kind of roll with the punches a little bit and to still meet the needs of customers and my staff. So that's another thing too. We have the most wonderful staff. I have to mention them. Most of them are, a lot of them our Wheaton College students, and they're just so nice, so polite, so thoughtful, and they really do desire to meet the needs of our customers. At Suzette's, we serve breakfast, lunch, afternoon tea, and dinner, and then we have brunch on Saturdays and Sundays. That's our basic schedule, Tuesday through Sunday. We're closed on Mondays. And then there are those special events that we plan, and we actually usually have a little guiding post that we follow to decide what we're going to do. First of all, we have our Christmas tea, which is amazing. We've done Christmas tea since we first opened, actually, so for 26 years, and we've seen it grow and expand, and it is wonderful. And in the month of December, that we have 3 and 4 generations of families that have come for tea, and it is the best time of the year for us at Suzette's is during our Christmas tea time. But we also have some other unusual events that we plan throughout the year, yeah, like Bastille Day, which is July 14th. Happens also to be our anniversary. I plan to open on Bastille Day for that very reason. And then we do Mardi Gras and other events. And our guidance for making these decisions is if it is the tiniest bit French, we're going to celebrate it. And so what we do is I say to myself, well, if Napoleon put his foot in that country, therefore we can celebrate that country. And that's that's why we do things from Europe, Eastern Europe. He was also in Egypt, and so we do some Egyptian food, or Tangine, or North Africa, Morocco. There, Vietnam was a French colony for a while, so we feel very free to have Vietnamese foods as specials. And so wherever Napoleon went, kind of says, okay, it gives me the freedom to put that nationality food on our specials list. Our menu at Suzette's is kind of the same as when we first started in a lot of ways. We've added and expanded it, but um, since it is a unique menu that you can't get everywhere, we don't change too much because people, when they come in, they're looking forward to that spicy coconut shrimp crepe, or they're looking forward to eating the beef bourguignon, which takes us 6 hours, or the duck confit that we make ourselves, and again, that takes about 4 hours to cook. So we don't change the basics, but we do have specials. And again, we try to focus on the French theme when we do our specials, if at all possible. So I think probably our number one seller is our beef bourguignon crepe. Although I have to mention our French scrambled eggs for brunch and breakfast are fast inching up to the how many people love the beef bourguignon. The French scrambled eggs have just been um, mentioned many times to us about how much people love it. You might notice when you walk into Suzette's, on the left side is a beautiful display of French pastries, and then on the right side is the entrance into the restaurant. And we decided to open the patisserie, I think it was probably about 10 or 12 years ago, just because it was just seemed like the right thing to do. So we specialized, again, being very French focused. We decided we would try to be a patisserie with an American slant, because we have to have brownies and we have to have chocolate chip cookies. We just need to have these things. But we also try to focus on the fresh fruit tarts and croissants. We do beignets throughout the year. We also have beautiful quiche, which we're kind of well known now for our quiche, and those are available in the bakery. So it started very small with one little case, and it has grown now to 3 cases. And then we added a few years ago gelato, because when you go to a patisserie in Paris, very, very often they sell gelato as well as baked goods. My purpose in opening Suzette's from day one has always been to provide a place for people to just get away from the grind of every day, turn the phones off. We have no TVs, and it's a chance for families to get together, or husbands and wives, or boyfriends and girlfriends, or brothers and sisters, and friends to get together and have a space that is quiet enough that they can converse without shouting, and a place that they feel comfortable enough to talk and to share ideas and things that they want to talk over with that significant person that they're with. I never wanted to hire a celebrity chef or anything. I did not want it to be chef centric. It was more of a just a place to come to build these relationships. And so I think probably to me the most important thing is to actually see that happening as we have so many generations coming back, and the memories that people share with me about they remember when their grandmother was here and when they were a child and the grandmother brought them here and now she's no longer with them, and the memories that they cherish celebrating anniversaries or birthdays. And um, so I think that probably what I would like people to think about when they leave Suzette's after a wonderful meal is that they'd like to come back and bring somebody with them that they would have to catch up with. Maybe they have a family member they haven't seen for a long time, or they have a friend they haven't seen, and they want to come to Suzette's because they are welcome to stay as long as they want to. We don't have a deadline on we need your table in 1.5 or 2 hours. And in fact, I hate to admit this, but we have had some people stay for 4 or 5 hours. They had a lot to talk about. So, we're not going to tell them they have to leave, except maybe at night when we start turning the lights off, it is time to go home. But anyway, we just wanted to open our space up here with open arms to people to have a nice time, a quiet time, a good time. And doing that with hospitality is probably our biggest accomplishment.